I've started the recording now and let's start the class. Hyper-V storage and networking is the fourth lesson in the module 2. We have completed installing Hyper-V role. I have shown you how to install a Hyper-V role, managing Hyper-V role using a PowerShell and using GUI. Also configuring Hyper-V settings for its NUMA, enhanced session mode, resource pools. We have already seen this. Now the fourth lesson we are going to cover is Hyper-V host storage and networking. We are only going to speak about some basics because we are going to uh, cover things more in detail. Like networking, we have a complete module for it, and we will cover complete networking in that module. And I'm going to start networking module today. We will try to complete it today itself, but let's see how things goes. So let's start Hyper-V host storage and networking. You must properly configure storage and networking for the Hyper-V host so that the virtualization platform and the virtual machines that are running on that platform can use the available resources and optimal performance. Features such as storage space, disk deduplication, and network theming are Windows Server features that Hyper-V can utilize when they are available. For example, Hyper-V can store virtual machines on SMB3 network shares. We have seen this, if you remember, I have created a file share and we have put all the VMs on a file share. So I don't have another server. If I have one more server, I can access the file share from that server, and the other server can also use the same file share. They, they, you don't need to have separate file shares. Only one file share. That means it's a one location where all the hosts can save their data. So that share is called a shared storage. So it's shared between all the servers. I mean all the Hyper-V. So if you remember high availability, how VMs will move from one host to another host. So right now there is a VM on client. There is a VM on Lion 6950. That's the name of my server. So one VM on this server can move to Lion 6951 if there is a shared storage. Okay. So for example, Hyper-V can store virtual machines on SMB 3.0 share network share, and disk duplication in Windows Server 2012 can minimize disk space used by running virtual machine in a VDI scenario. So what we are going to see is describing storage space, disk duplication, offload data transfer, SMB 3.0, Hyper-V benefits from SMB 3.0, describing network theming. So we have already completed doing this. We already did this practically in the second class, I think, second or third class. We have already completed it. We are now going in detail to check what exactly we did. Okay. So overview of storage space. Storage space is a storage virtualization subsystem in Windows Server operating system and Windows Client operating system. Storage space is built on top of storage pools, which are the collection of physical disks. So pools, in Hyper-V, what we do is we give storage in pools. It's not one disk or two disks is given. We will take set of disks, make it a pool, and then give it to a, a Hyper-V. The Hyper-V will take it as one single storage and put the data. The data might go to disk 1, data might go to disk 2, data might go to disk 3. Physical disks can be of different sizes, can be connected locally by using different bus types such as SATA, serial bus, iSCSI, external iSCSI, USB. Remote storage such as NAS, WAN cannot be a part of storage pool. So storage pool is a set of disks which can be a SATA disk. So these are the number of disks that are available in the market. One is SATA, serial attached iSCSI. So SATA is a disk. You have SATAs mainly in your server. Serial attached iSCSI is you have a separate server which has nothing on it except the disk base where you have only disk. Only disk. I can show you an example of a serial attached iSCSI. This is the serial port. It's showing you it's a port which is used, and it's something like this. Something like this. It has nothing, just the storage. It won't have anything else. This is how you open the storage. It comes out. If you I don't have. Let me copy this. Yeah, if you see 146 GB disk, these are connected using SATA, and this is a complete one server. So it's a storage server where there are only disks provided, and the disks are from behind are connected to the network. That's it. So it can have any disk. I mean, if you see this, these are 450 GB disks. You see this? These are 146 SAS disks. So it can be any disk. Serial attached disk, external iSCSI or USB. Remote storage such as NAS and SATA cannot be a part of storage pool. So that all thing is called a storage pool. It's a pool, like a swimming pool where you have a tub and you have a water in it. So similar way, it's a storage pool where there is a tub and you have just all hard disk in it. Storage pool enables you to aggregate storage, extend capacity, flexibility, and delegate administration. Yes, storage pool is, suppose you also have a hard disk in your computer. If you have to extend it, what can you do? You cannot do anything. You have to turn off your computer. You have to remove the back panel of your laptop and then have to take out the disk, put in another disk. You cannot extend it. So right now, if you have 500 GB, you can make it 2 terabyte, but you have to take out 500, put a 2 terabyte. But in the storage pools, you don't need to do it. If you want to extend, just open up a bay, put a new hard disk in it, it directly gets in. That's it. You don't have to shut down a computer or a server. Why? Because you are working on a storage pool. You are not working on a server. Storage pool is a separate thing. So nowadays, a server doesn't need a storage in it. Storage comes beside it. So storage comes beside it. And server is just server running an operating system. That's it. Storage space is represented as virtual disk built on top of storage pool. Storage space can have different levels of redundancy. This depends upon your application, what exactly you want to make it. I mean, what if you want to make it RAID 5, RAID 1, RAID 10? You can all allocate space when created. Fixed provisioning or extend dynamic, thin provisioning, and can have automatic or controlled allocation on heterogeneous storage. This all depends upon what you are doing. You can use storage space to add physical disk of any type and size to a storage pool, and then create highly available virtual disk from the storage pool. The primary advantage of storage space is that you can manage multiple disks at one unit. As one unit, multiple disks as one unit. Suppose I have uh, uh, 256 GB into 4 disks, about 1 terabyte, and I want to make 1 terabyte of D drive. Yes, I can do it. With that 4 disks, I can make it 1 disk. So the CPU or the server will see it as 1 disk. That's it. Storage space includes in the following feature: resilient storage, continuous availability, optimal storage use, storage triggering, multi-tenancy. Resilient storage. Storage space supports two resilient modes, mirroring and parity. You can configure layout and resilient for each storage pool independently. You can also configure pre-pool support for disk and a reserve for replacing stale disk. So this is one type of a storage with the resilient storage. It has two modes in it, mirroring or parity. So you know what mirroring is. Mirroring is if so for mirroring you need two disks. So in redundant storage, if you do it in mirroring, what will happen if you have 200 disks? One is for use, the the 100 are for use, the 100 are for mirroring. That's what the mirroring does. And the other one is priority. So priority, you need a minimum of three disks. Two will be used for storage, one will be used for priority. So if you have 200 disks, about 70 disks will be used for, about 65 disks will be used for 65 and 65. So how much is this? 130. 130 will be used for 130 disks will be used for storing the data. Another 70 is used for parity. Continuous availability. Storage space is fully integrated with failover clustering, which provides continuous availability. So this storage space is actually shared between two servers for availability, for failover clustering, for failover clustering, which provides continuous availability. You can cluster pools across multiple nodes with a single cluster. So how many clusters we can have in Hyper-V? Sorry, how many servers we can have in one cluster in Hyper-V? 256. Can anyone answer that? Number of clusters, not number of clusters. How many Hyper-V hosts we can have in a cluster?
Isn't a cluster is a group of servers?
Yes,
64.
64. Yes, not 256, just 64. The storage space is fully integrated with failover clustering, which provides continuous availability. You can cluster pool across multiple nodes. So one storage in a cluster can help about 64 servers at once. I mean, 64 servers can access the same storage within a single cluster. Storage space can be created as individual node, and if failure occurs, the storage will fail over to a different node. Storage space supports integration with CSV, cluster storage. I don't remember now what we use. The volume, cluster storage volume, which includes scale out access of disk of data. Optimal storage use. Storage space supports thin provisioning. So we have seen a thin provisioning. Guys, do you remember thin provisioning? So what happens is, think what is thin provisioning first of all? Thin provisioning means, suppose I have, let me draw this for you. This is your disk. You have, so what you did is, I have created a VM, a virtual machine, and on virtual machine, what I did is, I have given a disk of about how much disk did I give? Okay, about 40 GB. Okay, so this is 40 GB disk. Okay, this complete square box is 40 GB. Okay, so this 40 GB has been allotted, and then I have installed an operating system. So how much space the operating system takes? It takes about 400 GB. I mean, it doesn't use much space. It uses some space. So how much is this? This is, first of all, this is 40 GB altogether. From year to year, it's 40 GB complete. And I have installed an operating system here, which is around, let's say, 3.5 GB. 3.5 GB. So 3.5 GB is my Windows operating system. So if you go to storage, right click on it, then check the properties, you will only see 3.5 GB. You will not see this space. And suppose now I have copied a file. So what will happen is, in thin provisioning, if I suppose if I copied a file of 2 GB, this line comes here. So the operating system is only seeing the space that is it's consuming. It will not see this space. Will not see this space at all. It only sees what he is using. So this line is gone, and now you have 3.5 plus you have copied a file of 2.5 GB. So you now 3.5 and 2 actually becomes 5 GB. So it becomes 5 GB. 5 GB. That's it. So now if you right click and see, it will show you as 5 GB. So, but you still have about 35 GB left. So this is a virtual storage. This is a thin provisioning concept. So it will only, so sometimes what happens is, in a company, uh, customer asks for 80 GB. I need 80 GB, but customer only use 20 GB. So what about the 60 GB? That 60 GB is actually getting wasted. So if you do thin provisioning, this storage can be used by some other server who needs more storage. because we are not putting a disk into a computer. Whenever customer is asking for more storage, we give thin provisioning. So if you remember, in while working on storage, we can see the thin provisioning, how we put give a thin provisioning to our our service VM clients. Okay, storage space supports thin provisioning to allocate space as needed. If data is deleted inside a virtual machine, Hyper-V supports automatic storage reclamation for deleted files. So if anything is deleted, the storage gets reclaimed automatically. So you don't need a someone to, suppose one disk is not getting used in one server, so somebody has to go take out the disk and he can reuse it somewhere else. But here everything is getting automated because of the think provisioning concept. And think provisioning was actually introduced by VMware, and Microsoft has copied it, and we are using it. Storage triggering. In Windows 2012 R2, you can enable storage tiering on virtual disk, which enables automatic movement of most frequently accessed files to faster SSD storage. So storage tiering is a concept where BYOD is actually used. So anybody remember what BYOD is? Can anyone answer? BYOD by your own device. And there is one more thing I want to ask you. Do anyone remember what is J, uh, A, B, D? What is JABD? Just a bunch of disks. Just a bunch of JYBOD. Just a bunch of disks. So this is something called just a bunch of disks. You need that for storage tiring. So in this concept, just the bunch of disks, you only need a storage pool. Under that, you can have anything as storage. You can have iSCSI, you can have SATA, you can have SSD, you can connect anything. What will happen is, suppose your server has five files: file A, file B, file C, file D, and file E. Now, Usman goes to a server and access file E, and Hamza go to another server and he access file D. And the other three files, nobody is touching it from past 6 months. So file E is getting used by Usman, file D is getting used by Hamza. So, and every now and then, I mean, you use this file in every day. So what will happen is they have a smarter technology now. So they move this used file, the files that are getting used, to SSD. What is SSD? Solid state drive. They are the fastest drive on earth as of now. There is nothing faster than them. To give you an access without delaying for any nanosecond, they move the frequently used files to SSD, and that is storage tiering. and it happens automatically. They are not copying it. They are they are copying and pasting it. It's like cut and paste. So now these files which are getting oftenly used are on the SSDs, so for the faster access. So things are getting fast and faster and faster. So storage tiering. In Windows 2012 R2, you can enable storage tiers on virtual machine which enable automatic movement of your most frequently files to faster SSD storage. Multi-tenancy. Administration of storage pools is controlled through ACL. What is ACL? Access Control List, and is delegated on per pool basis. Each storage pool can be isolated. Access is integrated with ADDS, that is ADDNS, ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. Can you include an iSCSI disk that is connected to your Hyper-V host in storage space? Yes. Can you include an iSCSI disk that is connected to your store or Hyper-V host? Yes, you can. What is this deduplication? When you store files on a file server, many files can contain blocks of same data. This is also a case of virtual hard disks, especially when they are the same guest operating system installed. Data duplication is a process that runs in the background after a file is saved. It analyzes the files and finds and removes duplicate blocks without compromising the file integrity. The goal of data deduplication is to store more data in a single space by segmenting files into small variable size chunks, 32 to 128 bit kilobytes, defining duplicate chunks and maintaining a single copy of each chunk. Duplicate copy of the chunks are then replaced by the reference of a single copy. The chunks are compressed and then organized into special containers filed in the system volume information folder. Access to duplicated files is the same as access the files that are not duplicated. You can enable data deduplication in Server Manager or by using Windows PowerShell. You enable data deduplication only for an entire volume. The volume must be formatted with NTFS file system and must not be a system or boot volume. You can use data deduplication on shared storage, and failover clustered is fully supported. Windows Server 2012 adds support for data deduplication on CSV. So this is not a Hyper-V concept. This is Windows 2012 concept, but can be used for Hyper-V. Suppose if you are using a storage where you want to enable data deduplication, Hyper-V will take a most advantage of it, because on a Hyper-V where you have a storage connected, definitely there will be more and more duplicate files because you are installing an operating system. How many operating systems I have installed uh, in my server? About 10. So 10 Windows 2012 R2 servers has been installed on the same Hyper-V. So there are 10 duplicate files. Each file is duplicated 10 times. And if we open our deduplication on the disk, all the files will be deleted except the ones and with the references. So the disk usage will be really low. So when you go and check how much your operating system is using, And if you are using thin provisioning along with that, so it's going to be very less. And at the end, what's happening is how much space I have. I have 300 GB space on where I am saving all the VMs. That eventually gets reduced. So if I am using 120 with deduplication, I might be using around 60 GB only. That's it, because all duplicate files has been deleted, and there is a reference of it, so that each VM will use the same reference and open it for you. So you will see a, a same thing what you have on a VM. I mean, how the server should work, the functionality and everything would be same. You will have no issues because of the deletion. Only thing is it has been deleted and a reference has been created. Okay, this is the reference. If this happens, this is the functionality. Data deduplication can be effective for optimizing storage and reducing the disk space used for storing data. A virtualization library that stores virtual hard disk is a good example of how data deduplication reduces disk space use. By using data deduplication, you can reduce the virtualization library size by 80% or more. Windows Server 2012 can deduplicate only files that are not constantly open, and because of this, virtual hard disks of running virtual machines cannot be deduplicated. So there are some limitations to it. So Windows Server 2012 can deduplicate only files that are not constantly open. So we can only deduplicate to the files that are not constantly open. So there will be a less file. And because of this, virtual hard disks of running virtual machines cannot be deduplicated. So server has to be shut down to deduplicate. Windows Server 2012 R2 improves deduplication performance and adds support to deduplication of open files. As a result, Windows Server 2012 R2 can duplicate the virtual hard disk of the running virtual machines that you use for VDI and that are stored on the SMB 3.0 network drive. Deduplication of running virtual machines that are not part of VDI are or that are not stored on a network share may work, but this scenario is not supported. What is offload data transfer? When you use a traditional data copy model, the data of copying must first be read from the source storage SAN, transferred over the network, and then written into a server memory. When you use a traditional data copy model, the data for copying must first be read from the source storage SAN, transferred over the network, and then return into the server memory. Next, the data must be transferred over to the network, again to a destination storage NAS, and then return to the disk. This approach has several drawbacks, such as high utilization of server processor and memory, and transferring data into a server and then back to storage, even if the data is stopping inside the system. So, guys, um, this is a very good example. If you remember, I mean, you guys might have done it in a very smaller fashion. Uh, Put a USB drive to your computer. Try to copy it. Think about it. Think about it. You are copying something from your pen drive. You're copying 16 GB. It's slower. It takes some time to copy. What exactly is happening is what is written here. when you try to use traditional data copy. The data for copying must first read the source storage, USB, not SAN, okay? USB. Must read from the stored storage. So first it will read it, transfer over to the network. So if this is happening on a network, then it gets transferred over to a network. Let's take in our case, it gets transferred to a memory. How it gets transferred? Using a bus. So there is a wire inside which is connected to the motherboard, right? So it goes through the wire and then returned to server memory. Before the data is copied over to your hard disk, it gets copied into the RAM. That is what the server memory is. So it copied into the server memory. Next, the data must be transferred over to, okay, if you suppose you are copying one data from one USB to another USB, not putting up it in your computer. So how things will do. So it goes to your memory. Now next, the data must transfer over through the wires again to the destination USB and write to the disk. So this is common. I mean, this is common. Everybody do it. Suppose you are copying C data from your C drive to your D drive. How that will happen? First, it get read at C, copied over to your memory, and then from there it gets copied uh, to your D drive. And in between, CPU is also getting used. How? Is when you try to copy something, first the signal goes to CPU saying that I have to copy something and paste it on a different. So CPU comes in action and tells the memory, okay, copy it to you and then put it in the server. So CPU is also handling all this requests. So CPU is getting involved, RAM is getting involved, hard disk is getting involved. So the concept here, what the new concept which Microsoft came up with is what is the use of CPU? Why he is coming in and helping. CPU is a very big guy. He should not come for a smaller task. So they came up with an idea that if storage want to get copied over, then storage should handle it instead of CPU coming in between. Let's read that. To avoid this inefficiency, Windows Server 2012 and newer version supports Windows offloaded data transfer. Offloaded data transfer uses a token-based mechanism for reading and writing data within or between intelligent SANs. So this can happen only between SANs, storage area networks. Instead of reading and writing the data through the server, a token is copied between the source and destination uh, storage. The token serves as a point in time representation of the data, and copy manager of a SAN performs the data movement according to the token. For example, when you copy a file of a virtual hard disk between storage location on the same SAN or between the SANs, a token representing a virtual hard disk file is copied. The server does not need to copy the underlying virtual hard disk because the storage SAN that supports offload data transfer will copy the server hard disk file more effectively and without utilizing the server. You can use offload data transfer to interact with the storage device to move large files or data through a high-speed storage network. Offload data transfer reduces client server network traffic and CPU usage considerably during large data transfer because all the data movement is performed by the storage. If you want to use offloaded data transfer source and destination sans must. So there are few things that need to be keep in mind if you want to use offload data transfer. Sans must support offloaded data transfer must be connected by using iSCSI or fiber channel over Ethernet or serial attached iSCSI. So these are the way it has to be connected, and it should be a new SAN which supports offloaded data transfer. Must be managed by same storage manager. Two SANs must be managed by two storage same storage manager. Only then this technology can work along with the Hyper-V. Hyper-V supports offloaded data transfer, and when offloaded data transfer also is supported by the storage array. So it's not only Hyper-V, Hyper-V supports, so storage array should also support. Performance improvement can be considerable. For example, if the creation of a 10 GB fixed size virtual hard disk takes almost 3 minutes, the same operation takes less than a second when using offload data transfer. In addition, when using offloaded data transfer, you can perform other related Hyper-V operations much faster, such as expanding virtual hard disk, merging virtual hard disk, or live storage migration. So these things can be done very fast. You can use offloaded data transfer when you copy a 10 GB file between file servers. Yes, between file servers. Between file shares. Between file shares. File shares are if the file shares are if the file shares are connected using iSCSI, fiber channel, or then yes, you can. Just a minute. Let me. Can you use offloaded data transfer when you copy a 10 GB file between file shares? If file shares are on the SAN network, yes, you can. If it's not, then you cannot. What is SMB 3.0? Guys, we have seen this. We did this practically. I have shown you how to create a share. It is it's speaking the same thing. SMB is a network file sharing protocol that Windows operating system use on top of the TCP/IP protocol for accessing files on network shares. SMB has several backward compatibility versions, and Windows Server 2012 adds support for SMB 3.0. SMB 3.0 has several new and useful features, including the following features: SMB transparent failover, SMB scale out, SMB multi-channel, SMB direct, SMB encryption, VSS, and SMB file shares. SMB transparent failover. This feature is available in a failover cluster with at least two nodes. So anyway, failover cluster, when we say it's a failover cluster, at least it has to be two nodes. It allows clients to access an SMB file share without interruption. Even if the SMB file share node to which the client is connected fails, the failover cluster preserves information on the server side and allows the client to reconnect automatically to the same share on the renaming remaining file server cluster node. This enables administrators to perform hardware and software maintenance on file share cluster nodes by moving the file share between nodes without client interruption. I have a server A, I have a server B. I have created a file share on server A, but for some reason my file server A got crashed. It's now turned off, but still my share is active because of the failover clustering of Hyper-V. And if I have to copy up the data, I can still do it on server B. So technically, I'm doing it on server B, but the share was actually created on server A. So this is called SMB transparent failover. SMB scale out. Administrators can use this feature to create file shares in failover clusters on CSV that provide simultaneous access to files with direct I/O through all nodes in file server cluster. These features help provide load balancing of clients and better utilization of network bandwidth. SMB multi-channel. This feature provides the ability to use multiple network interface for aggregation of network bandwidth and network fault tolerance. If network path exists between the client and the server, server application can utilize aggregated network bandwidth and a resilient in case of network failure. For that, you need multiple Ethernet cards for SMB multi-channel. This feature provides the ability to use multiple network interfaces. For that, you need multiple Ethernet cards for aggregation of network bandwidth and network fault tolerance. If you have multiple network cards, then definitely one card is gone, the other card will take over the work of the card that is gone. SMB Direct. This feature provides ability to use network adapters that have remote direct memory access (RDMA) capability. Network adapters that have RDMA can function at full speed with very low latency and use minimal CPU resource. SNB encryption. This feature enables file encryption while files are transferred over the network and without using public key PKI infrastructure. You can configure SMB encryption per share or for the entire server. Basically, you don't do all this because this is the work of storage team. You just need to understand what what is happening in the background. VSS for SMB file share, volume shadow copy service VSS is a framework that enables volume backups while applications continue to write to the volume. The VSS provider for SMB file share enables VSS aware backup application to perform application consistent shadow copy of VSS aware server applications that are storing data on SMB 3.0 file share. Windows Server Backup in Windows Server 2012 does not support VSS or SMB file shares. SMB file share management. If you prefer graphical tools, you can use Server Manager to create and configure file share by using a simple set of wizards. However, when you need to manage a significant number of shares or automate the configuration, you should use Windows PowerShell. New Windows PowerShell can also be help you to understand better inner working of SMB 3.0. For example, you can create a new file share by running the following command prompt. So let's go ahead, do some experiments, see this file share, how it what it is and how it gets created. So here is the server. Let me log in. New SMB share. New SMB share. Now it's asking for the path. Where do you command the following parameter? Okay, let me see where is my path. Okay, here it is. Uh, here is a share, and here I want to make it. Okay, here I want to share and example. Okay, this is my path. Name of the share. Now the name I want to give is uh, let's share. So the name is example share. Path is this, and it's created. So let's see this. Right click, properties, sharing. It's shared. So if I have to open the share on some server, let's see if I can do it. So let's open our DNS server. $69.50. You see that? These are all of my shares. And if you see, I can see EX share. And where is EX share? EX share, we have given a name, but it's in the share example. Right. So if I do this, lion 6950 slash, if you see this, this is the path of the share. Where it is. This is the path of the share. So it's on lion 5960, and this is going to be the name. EX share. EX. This is the share I have created. Good. Now this was using PowerShell. Now let's see how to create it using GUI. So I went into Server Manager. This is Server Manager. Go to Resource Pool. Go to Shares. This is how we have created this share. So now, new share. I have right clicked here. New share. So what it means, it's asking for, do you need an SMB share quick? You need this, you need this, you need the NFS share. I need an SMB share quick. Okay, next. What is the location? Do you need it? So, okay, I want it on Z. Okay, and you can give a custom path also if you have to. Next, give a share name. Share name, I want to give my personal share. Don't touch it. So this is what it's getting created on Z shares. It's putting up my personal share, and this is going to be the remote path to share. So Lion 6950, my personal share. Click next. Now it's asking for enable access based enumeration or allow caching of sharing, encrypting data access, encrypt data access. Now I'm okay with whatever the default is saying. And then it's asking for permissions. Who can access your share? So as of now, I have no one in mind. So let it be the same way. I say everyone can access my share. But next. So this is all security. So now we are getting a summary here and then create, close. So let's see. My personal share has been created. Now if I go here, go to my personal share. You see this? The shares I have my personal share folder has been created. If I right click here, if I go here, if I go see the sharing, see this. If I go to a server, some server I want to, I can access it. I can access it. See, I am putting up a file here. File. I am putting up or one more thing here, and let's put up a text file. A text file here. Save. Okay, this is done. I am doing this on DNS1 server. If you can see, closing the server. It's done. Come here. I can see all the files that I created on another server. This server is also accessing it. I cannot access it on this server. Why? Because this server, I mean, on this computer, because it's not in my domain. If it's in my domain, I can access it here also. I have one more computer with me, a laptop. I, uh, I can access it there also. It's a wirelessly connected. Maybe in the next class, I will go ahead and do go to meeting from that laptop so that I can show you things. Right. So this is SMB3. So we did it. We are doing this for the third time, I guess. I'm trying to put things in your mind so that you should always remember what we are doing. So this is how we did. Then you can add required permissions by running the following command. Yes, grant SMB share access to whoever you want to put it. You can get others SMB related commandlets by running the following commandlets. That's okay. Is SMB 3.0 used when you access and copy a file from Windows Server 2008 R2 file server to no. It's a protocol of a share. I don't think SMB 3.0 used when you access a file from one server to another. It's used for accessing files. It never says that it's used for copying files, copying or pasting. I have no idea. So Hyper-V overview SMB. So how the SMB is used on Hyper-V. Last but one topic, and after that we have an overview of network NIC theming, and then we have a small lab to complete. Prior to Windows Server 2012, when Hyper-V could run virtual machines only if virtual hard disk of the virtual machine was stored locally or on a SAN. Prior to Windows 2012, Hyper-V would run virtual machines only if virtual hard disk of the virtual machine was stored locally or on a SAN. So they didn't had a share option before. Uh, SMB 3.0 option was not there before, but it has been introduced in Windows 2012. Hyper-V in Windows Server 2012 provides added support for storing virtual machine data files such as configuration, virtual hard disks, and checkpoints on network shares, which must be accessible over SMB 3.0 protocol on New York. When Windows, when virtual machines are stored on a SMB share, the file server that provides the SMB share must not be the Hyper-V host. So this is important, but we then we did this we did this mistake again. Okay, so what it's saying is when you create a store, don't create it, don't create in your Hyper-V. Create it on some other server, which is not on your Hyper-V. Why? Suppose my Hyper-V crashed. Now where is my data? It's gone. All of my virtual machine files are gone. So if you have this share on a network, on a different desktop, I mean on a different server, so even if your server crash, your VM data, your VM files are still there on the other server, right? When virtual machines are stored on SMB share, the file servers that provide the SMB share must not be the Hyper-V host that is storing virtual machine data files on that share. In such a case, you must configure Hyper-V host to store virtual machine data files locally. Because computer accounts are used for configuring file share permissions, the Hyper-V host and the file server that hosts the SMB share must be member of same ADDS domain. This is very important because things will not work if your server or your shares or others are not in your domain. So if the data files of the running virtual machines are stored on a SMB share, you can also configure data deduplication for the volume that is hosting SMB share. This requires Windows Server 2012 R2 and is only supported if the virtual machine is a part of VDI implementation. Sorting virtual machine data files on SMB 3.0 file share provides a similar level of reliability, availability, manageability, and performance as when virtual machine data files are stored on a SAN storage. SAN storage is actually very expensive, guys. It's not easy for every company to afford it. A very big companies, yes, they do afford it, but a small company, suppose with a 50 employees, and every employee had to have a laptop or a desktop, and if they are working on applications, if they have a virtual machines installed, for them, share is the best option. And SAN is not. SAN and NAS are expensive devices. This means that you can also use SMB share as shared storage for high availability scenarios when accessing SMB 3.0 file share. You can use features such as SMB transparent failover, SMB scale out, SMB multi-channel, SMB direct, SMB encryption. Some of the advantages of using SMB files to store virtual machine data files include easier provisioning and management, use existing infrastructure, use existing knowledge. Instead of managing SANs and LUNs, you can create and configure file shares with which all administrators are familiar. Use the existing infrastructure. You can use the existing file shares and network. You do not have to add specified storage hardware such as SAN and networks such as fiber channel. So SANs usually work on fiber channel. They don't work on Ethernet cable. So fiber channel means fiber optics. So one of the fastest um, uh, um, storage. I mean, it's very fast to access because it uses fiber channel. But again, It's very expensive and it requires other hardwares to be connected. Use existing knowledge. All administrators are familiar with creating and configuring file shares. That's yes, that's true because file shares are in the market from very long time, maybe about 10 to 15 years. So everybody knows about it, how to work with it. SANs or LANs require specialized people to work on it, like a storage engineer. You cannot do it by yourself. If you need 50 GB, you need to request it from a storage engineer. He allocates it to you, but you cannot do it for yourself. Can you store and run virtual machine on a SMB 3.0 share on a Windows Server 2012 R2 file server that is not a domain member? No, you cannot do it. That's what it spoke about. Uh, because computer accounts are used for configuring file share permissions, the virtual Hyper-V host and the file server that hosts SMB must be a member of same ADDS domain. Do you guys see this? The Hyper-V host and the file server. So this is the answer for this question. Can you store, run virtual machines on a SMB 3.0 share on a Windows Server 2002 R2 file server that is not a domain member? So the answer is the Hyper-V host and the file server that hosts SMB share must be a member of same ADDS domain. Overview of neck teaming. Neck teaming is again, it's not a concept of Hyper-V, but Hyper-V use it. Uh, this complete topic says about for neck teaming, you need two necks or more than two necks, and you team the necks. I did it just 2 days back. I did it on one of the live servers. Anyway, it didn't work, but I did it. I will show you how to do it. So let's do this. We will read the theory part once we complete doing it. So let's do neck teaming. It's not a Hyper-V uh, concept. It's a totally different. It's a Windows concept. Admin 20.
Question.
Tell me.
Yes, my question is in offload transferring data. So what size is the limitation? Like how many GB you can transfer?
It didn't spoke about any limitation on the sizing, how much size of data can be transferred. So I cannot answer that question.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
It didn't said anything. Offload day of data. If you see here, SMB 3.0
I
of.
guess my mail was transferred then.
I am sorry. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, there was a question like it said, can you transfer up to 10 GB of data? That means maybe it could be the 10. I will check it out. Maybe it could be the 10 GB
Just a minute.
thing.
I mean, I know which question you are speaking about. So let me see if I missed anything here. Can you use offload data transfer when you copy 10 GB file between file shares? For example, if a creation of a 10 GB fixed size virtual hard disk take almost 3 minutes, the same operation takes less than a minute. Nope, nope, nope. What is offload data transfer? First of all, it's not something that is transferring itself. What it does is it creates a token. So what we copy is we copy the token from one location to another location. We are only copying the token, and behind the data gets transferred, and it transferred transfer speed is very high. That's it. I mean, how much, that depends upon how much you want to migrate. I I myself transferred about 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of data from one disk to another disk. It happened. I mean, I'm not speaking about offload. Offload data transfer is a concept of migrating or transferring. It's not something that you are copying from one location to another. So size doesn't matter.
Okay, okay, thank you. I
Size
understand now.
doesn't
It's
matter.
about
You got it, right?
yeah, thank you, sir. Yes.
No problem. I am also learning along with you. Where were we? Nick teaming, yes. Let's see nick teaming before we read what it is. So let me do this. This is DNS1. DNS1 for yes, it's working. So let's go to settings. Now I want to turn this off machine first. Okay. Now go to settings. It has one Ethernet cable. So for NIC teaming, first thing you need two NICs. Okay. So I don't have a physical server with two NICs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more NIC. And what is this? External switch. Uh, apply. Let's do one more thing. Add two more. Network adapter. Same external. Apply. One more. Add external switch. Network adapter. Apply. Okay. So what I did is now uh, I have connected four NICs. So don't take it as a virtual machine. Take it as a VM, as a physical server. I have four network cards. Okay. I have four network cards. Let's turn on the server. Let's go full screen. So this server has four network cards. Okay. And now I'm speaking this way, but it's a VM. Take it as a physical server. So it's the same technology. It's the same thing in a VM or in a server. So so we have attached three NICs, and the server operating system will see that, oh, I have four Ethernet cards. Now we will do a NIC teaming. The server is still turning on. And I really hate this when unnecessary updates come up. Restart. So yes, go ahead. Let's go ahead and start the theoretical part. And once these updates are done, we will go ahead and look into how the NIC teaming works. Okay. So you can use Windows Server 2012 R2 to configure multiple NICs in a same server into a team. This feature is known as NIC teaming. NIC teaming allows multiple network interfaces to work together as a team and prevent connectivity loss if one network interface in a team fails. So again, this is to give more redundancy to your network. Suppose you have four Ethernet cards, as if you have one Ethernet card right now in your laptop. If it burned out, you will not be able to get connected to the internet because you only have one. Servers has four. My server, I mean, this Lion 6950 has eight Ethernet cards for redundancy. So I can do two for management, and the rest I can put VMs on it. But I'm not doing it as of now. I'm only using one Ethernet card. But if I have to, I can use all four. Okay. Oh, sorry, all eight. So uh, If one Ethernet card is gone, the others take place. And at your convenience, you can replace it later. But your work will not stop because of that one burned Ethernet card. Okay, so that is what the NIC teaming is all about. NIC teaming allows multiple network interfaces to work together as a team and prevent connectivity loss if one of the network cards in the team fails. It also provides bandwidth aggregation for the network interface in a team. NIC team is not a feature specific to Hyper-V, but the Hyper-V can utilize NIC teaming, and that's the reason we are speaking about it to provide faster and more reliable network connectivity for both the Hyper-V host and virtual machines. When you are using NIC theming in Windows Server 2012 R2, you can put network adapters from different vendors and supporting different network speeds in the same queue. So it can be different network NIC themes. I mean, NIC, you don't need to have, you only need NIC from this company, this model, with this model. It's that independent. I mean, you can buy one NIC from LG, one NIC from Siemens, one NIC from Motorola. No, they don't care at all. You can do the NIC theming. This was just an example. I have no idea whether these companies make NICs or not. Okay. So when you put two or more physical network adapters into a NIC theme, this is then presented to the operating system as one or more virtual adapters, known also as theme network adapters. Two basic sets of algorithms that distributes inbound and outbound traffic between the network physical network adapters are in the team are switch independent mode, switch dependent mode, two modes. Algorithms do not require the switch to participate in NIC teaming because the switch does not have the knowledge that the network adapter is part of a team. You can connect the team network adapter to different switches. However, this configuration is not required. These nodes do not require any configuration of a switch and they protect against switch failure. So switch independent modes, I mean, they don't need a switch. And the second one is switch dependent modes, which requires a switch also. Algorithm required the switch to participate in the theming. These algorithms require that all network adapters in a team are connected in the same switch and that the switch is configured properly. The switch what they are speaking about is about the Cisco switches or the physical switches. We are not speaking about the virtual switches here. Okay, so keep that in mind. The NIC theming feature also works within the virtual machine. This allows a virtual machine to have virtual network adapters that are connected to more than one hypervisor switch. So it can also happen when you have a clustered um, uh, virtual machines in a cluster. So cluster means you have more than one host. Suppose you have three hosts. So what you can do is, as I created multiple NICs, you can also create a multiple NIC. So one NIC is created uh, in uh, in host one. Second NIC we can create in host two. Third NIC we can create in host three, and all these three NICs can be given to a server on host one. So now host one has NICs from three different servers. Okay, three different servers. Suppose one server crashed or something happened to it. The NIC is not working. The other server NIC is still working and your VM is still up. You got the point, right? Do you need to configure network switches if you want to use NIC theming in Windows 2012 R2? No. Why? Because there are two types of NIC theming. The physical, two basic set of algorithms that distribute inbound and outbound traffic between the physical network adapters in the team are. Let's go from top. When you put two or more physical network adapters into a NIC theme, this is then presented to the operating system as one or more virtual adapters known as team network adapters, two basic set of algorithms that distribute inbound and outbound traffic between physical network adapters in a team are switch independent, switch dependent. So do you need to configure network switches if you want to use mixed theming in Windows 2012? If you are using a NIC theming with switch independent modes, then you don't need it. If you are using an algorithm for switch dependent mode, then you have to. Sorry, the server is still on the 99%. It didn't complete it yet. Guys, did we completed installing and configuring Hyper-V role? I really don't remember, but it's pretty easy. We are not going to do it again because we already did it, but we can go over on it if we
Yes, we
didn't
have
do
done
it.
before.
You did it, right? Okay. So yeah, we don't need to do this then. But I will read through the scenario and then I will leave it to you guys. And these are the steps that need to be done. I mean, it's fairly, uh, yeah, we did this before installing Hyper-V role. Write down the name. I'm going to end the class today with this because I don't want to start networking. Uh, I want to start networking fresh. So we will do networking tomorrow. Or if I start it today, then I will complete it today. So we will do this tomorrow because I want you to concentrate on this and complete it at once. It's a very, I mean, it's not a big one. If I don't go with the theory, there are only three things that needs to be learned. That there are three networks, but I want to go with theory because there is something called VLAN tagging. I want you to know what is VLAN tagging. Yesterday I did a lab on a kind of lab to understand and to teach you on internal networks, how internal networks ping, and how the private switches work. And you already know how about the external switches, how the servers that are connected to the external switches, how what happens to them, how they look. So I already did that. So it's all up to you guys. I mean, if you want to leave early today, I can leave you after this lesson, or else we can start networking. How many chapters we have? Only three chapters in lesson 4. So after completing module 2, I'm going to module 4, not to volume 3. Once we complete module 4, then we will go to module 3. After module 3, we go to module 5.
I think we can start tomorrow. It will be better.
All up to you guys.
Uh,
Who else we have on the call? Let me see. I think there are few that are missing today. Yeah, there are few candidates that are missing also. Yeah, we will do it tomorrow.
it will be good for the other candidates too, sir.
And coming week, we have an off. We will not have a class on Saturday and Sunday. So, guys, you need both the days. You need an off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started and another server. For some reason, this server is stuck. And it's my DNS server. Anything happens to this server, my complete network will go down, and it's not coming up. Okay, so this server is up. Okay, so what I did is this is another server, DSCP1. So I have attached three more network cards to it. Take it as one card, a physical server. The same thing with the physical server, same thing with the virtual machine. There is absolutely no difference in it. If you see, I have four Ethernet cards connected. I have an internet connection here on this card. So I'm going in here, going to note down what IP address I have. I mean, this is how we do it in a company, or sometimes what happens is customers with whom we are working, they go to a network team and they get you all this information. So instead of me doing this, more easier thing I can do is IP config. Nothing came up. These servers have 1 GB RAM, so I think maybe because of that they are a little slower. Uh, no idea. Okay, so okay, right. And I remember this. Okay, so this is what the address is. So cancel, opt-in, automatic, go, close, close. This is what we have. And if I do an IP address now, IP config now, my IP address will change because see, uh, now it's getting it from the DSCP. So let's do a nick theming. I go here, here. What do I say here? Oh, that is DSCP. Okay. So if I go here, go to local servers. Now I get all this information here. In this, you will see remote management enable, remote desktop disable, how to enable it, right click on it, allow, apply, okay, done. Now I have these many addresses. If you see, I have IPv6 enable. If I am not using it in my company, I have been instructed to disable IPv6. So I have a habit of doing it. It's all up to you. It's all up to you if you want to do it. I mean, it's all up to your company if they want to do it. Okay. So we don't have any IP addresses here. This is the network adapters. So if I refresh it, the IPv6 will be gone. This is here. Now, if I do have to do a nick theming, if you do see this, this has been included in Windows 2012 R2. It's disabled. I will click on it, and now this is called nick theming wizard. Uh, Here we can make the nick theming. Here it says available to add to a team. One, two, three, four. Okay. Now what I do want to do, I want to do a nick theming. New team. Click on it. What is name of the team? Um. Okay. What name shall we give? Example. Example network. Net example network. And in this, I want to put all four. Okay. Give it some time. Everyone will get access. Don't worry. Did you see that? All are active. Okay. Now what happened is if you come here and say it says example network, right? That's what the name we gave, right? Now, if I go in the adapters, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is something called example network. This diagram shows that the network is teamed. If I go here, if I go here, right click on it, if you see everything has been disabled except Microsoft Network Adapter Multiplexer Protocol. This means this is working along with this. So if I click on this, now you will see all the options here. So I have to go on 4, and right now I want to see what is my IP address. Just a minute, IP config and the wrong spelling, FIG, my IP address. Now I'm going to change it. So I'm going to use the following IP address. This is, I have taken it into account. So guys, you will love seeing this. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to give this IP address. So just a minute, I have to turn on the lights here. Okay. 192.168.0.103. Really? My IP address was 103? Let's see when I go to it. Yeah. 192.168.0.1. 192.168.0.101. Okay. Close. Close. Done. Now let's see what is my IP address. Clear. IP config. You see that? It was this is my IP address now. Good. This is my IP address. Now let me show you this. And now let's play with this. Okay. This is my IP address 192.168.103. Okay. CMD. Yeah, you need these two windows to look at. You go up, ping. I'm going to ping this server and 192.168.0.103. Right. This is what I have. Ping on it. Definitely, I should get a. No, I will never get a ping request on this. Why? Because this computer is not in this network. Close it. I will use some other server. Okay. Let's. Is it, is it came on? No, it didn't. Okay. Yeah. Let's open client 2. I'm trying to see which server can come up soon so that I can Instead of wasting my time, I will show you the things. Okay, let me open up. Okay, host name something. Okay, this is also not in a domain. Ping 192.168.0.103. Yeah, this server will also not ping that server because it's not in a domain. So we need some server that is in a domain. Okay, while speaking, I can put this server in a domain. Server DNS2 Zoom.com. This is how you put a server in a domain. When it's not recognizing it, yes, because my DNS server is corrupted, it's not coming up. It will, I mean, until unless that server won't up, Zoom.com will not work. And what happened? Okay, this server seems to be coming up at domain 20. Okay, okay. So this server is up. So if I click on it, clear 190 ping ping 192.168.0.103. This will ping it because this is in the network. Right, it's pinging. Let's see. 103. If it won't ping, something is wrong. 192.168.0.103. I know why this is not pinging. I know. Because of Windows Firewall. It is not a good practice to turn off all the firewall settings. I am doing it only to show you. Uh, only to show you. Client. Right. You are getting it, right? You are getting it. You are getting the replies. So that means that server is active. Right? Right? Come on. Yes. 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 So I have client 2. I also have client 1. Now my example actually starts. client one. Where is client one? Here is client one. I'm also going to turn this on. Start. And DNS1 is still working. DNS2 is not in the domain. Let's see whether DNS who can do anything. Ping 192.168.0.103. Yes, it can also ping. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something. What is the IP address? IP config. The IP address of DNS2 is 192.168.17. Okay, now I am going to my host. Okay, this is my host. I think I can also ping it from here. CMD ping 192.168.0.17. Yes, I can ping it. Okay, so I am pinging DNS2. That is the DNS2 IP address. Okay, now check this out. Minus T. Okay, and I am going to smaller, turn this off little smaller, so that you can see both the scripts. Guys, you can see both the scripts, right? Right. So I did is minus T, and minus T will ping it, ping it, ping it. So I am pinging DNS2. Okay. Now I will go here and where is my DNS2? Where is the DNS2? Here it is. Go to settings and something happened to my switch. My switch crashed. Okay. My switch crashed. See? Gone. Did you see that? So my switch is gone. I mean, something happened. It burned out. Okay. So I just changed it here to show you. Suppose it's burned out. So this is what happened. My server dead. My server is dead. Now nobody can go to this server at all. No internet connection. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Even if you go to DNS2. So go to DNS2. Come here. See the internet connection is gone. Ping anything. Ping anything. You will not get it. You're done. Right. So yeah, I'm going to change it back anyway. And as soon as I change it, you will get the reply again. But this is what I was trying to show you. Okay. So if I only have one Ethernet card, as soon as it's gone, done. But now, and for DSCP1, we have created a NIC teaming. Here is a NIC teaming which is enabled. I have 4 cards in it. Okay, I have 4 cards in it. Let's do this. Okay, go to settings. What is the IP address of my DSCP1? IP address is 103. So let me ping this 0103. Okay, minus T for pinging it for not 4 replies or more than 4 replies. Okay, that until I break it, it runs. So check this out. It's running, guys. It's running, right? So pinging. I mean, I'm showing you. I mean, how the next teaming works. So DSCP1. So I'm going to DSCP1. Something happens to my NIC one. It's gone, burned out. See, did anything happen? Nothing. It's still going on. Nothing happened. As the server doesn't know anything. Go to the server, DSCP1, check your internet connection. Is there anything bad with your internet connection? No, it's still there. Okay. Uh, let's go here. Refresh. Enable anything? Nothing. Go to next teaming. Here it says failure. The virtual switch lacks external connectivity. That means the something gone bad. It's not showing you much, telling you much, but it's saying something gone bad. This is the permanent address, and if something is not working here, that's what it's saying. Come here. This is one the message. Okay. So if I have to do it, I mean, I can open up the server, or at my convenience, I can stop the server and repair it, put it back, but in my convenience. But if it's only one without a nick theming, it died. It died, right? Let's do one more. Okay, my replies are still going on. Let me go to settings. Uh, one more switch. Something happened. Not connected. Something happened. Look at the replies. It's still going on. I still have the replies there. Go to DSCP1. Check the internet connection. It's gone. And as per my information, it should not go. Just a minute. Let me do this. DSCP settings internet. It should not go because I still have two more Ethernet connected. Let's take this. This is something not right. So let me not connect this and let me turn on this. Did you see it? I mean, three of my networks are already gone, but still I have the internet connection. For some reason, it should not happen with one is running and one is not. It should with one particular it should not work. It should, I mean, with any three it should get failed. With any three it should get failed. So disconnected. With any three it should get failed. So this is the example of team nick theming. Guys, did you understood? This is what all about nick theming. So now I am going to stop this reply and DSCP1 close it, client to close it. Now from DSCP, I'm going to turn off. I'm going to delete all the adapters that we added. Remove, remove, remove. Okay, fixed on. Light. Okay, and go to DSCP server. I'm going to remove the nick theming. Now I'm going to remove the nick theming. Okay, DSP tools are. You see, we removed the connections from the back, and next teaming is still on, but we still have an internet connection here. Next teaming, I'm going to disable it. Before that, I want to take kind of a snapshot. IP config, just to remember what was the IP address. Okay, now I want to delete this. Delete. As soon as I did this, close it, refresh it, it's going to get disabled, and it's going to change to IP address as designed by DHCP. I need to go back to the IP address field and going to put back the IP address what I have, right? 192.168.0.103. I think that's what the IP address we used. Okay, where was that? Where did I? Okay, I got 192.168.0.103. So, 192.168.0.1. Okay, close, 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 done. Right, so that's what I wanted to show. That is the use of nick teaming in this. How this is how the nick teaming can be used on a physical server of Hyper-V. You can also use a nick teaming from three different servers, two different Hyper-Vs, not Hyper-Vs, two different hosts, and use it in a single VM. So if anything happens to one NIC on one server, the other NIC of other server is still active, and that can be used for a VM to be on a network. So this is what the redundancy is all about, and this is what the NIC teaming is, right? So here is the scenario of installing and configuring Hyper-V role. Based on the analysis of the current server environment, A-Datum Corporation has identified several servers that can be virtualized. I think we did this before, so we'll not touch it again. So we already completed, we know how to install Hyper-V role. So for that, we need to have Windows 2012 R2 installed and then go to uh, uh, roles and then you install it. So that is what they're speaking about. We have also uh, did uh, check how things can be done using PowerShell. So we have verified seeing if the Hyper-V installed, what changes happens to the server. We did that. We configured Hyper-V settings like configuring the virtual hard disk, uh, where is the default place uh, to save uh, the information about where the next virtual machine is going to be hosted, configuring virtual hard disk locations, NUMA. We checked NUMA out using GUI as well as using PowerShell. We checked about enhanced session mode policies. Yeah, we almost did it completely. You need to manage Hyper-V in Windows Server 2012 from Windows 7 client computer. Will you be able to administrate all Hyper-V features? No. The question of this is no. We learned this in some chapter. No. Um, all the features. No. No is the answer. We can administer administer two options. Um, three options, but not all. Can you virtualize a file server that is using Fiber Channel SAN for storing shared folders? Can you virtualize a file server that is used? We can do it, but it's not recommended because when you say Fiber Channel SAN, that means it's using heavy storage. It's using much storage. You have Windows 8.1 virtual machine that must be highly available. Can you use virtual machine based failover clustering to make it highly available? Yes, yes. I might show you how to do clustering. It's very, very easy. I did it by myself. Um, but what type of clustering we are doing, we need to look into it. I mean, we can cluster two VMs. So what will happen is, suppose if you are working on an application, all everything will be similar. I mean, they install application here, they install application here. So if they have a cluster name, if something happens to one of the node, the other node takes it over. So this is the concept. Suppose I am working on a word. So suppose my server burned out, something happened, close. But if I do RDP to the cluster, I go to any node that is available. If there is another node available, I go to that node, I do my work. My work will not get affected, even if the server got burned out. So that is what the clustering is for. Okay, guys. So I'm stopping the recording as soon as my recording gets